Hello, I am Cristina Martins. I am a native of Vienna Ducas. I am 55 years old. Cristina is a person. I'm a simple person who likes to be with family, with friends, likes travels, like to read. My situation, hair loss, started 26 years ago. I wasn't 28 at the time. Began to manifest itself. Small peels, mainly here in the back of the head and on the sides. That at first some would appeared and ended up in the head, obviously. To partially recover, were increasing. Until in a few months, which is completely only with pieces of hair. And I opted at the time when I realized the situation, for repairing the little he already had. Obviously at this beginning, when it began to procure medical support. Right on the first. Dermatologist who has said it right away in one very direct way, one way very, very, very present. I remember this, who told me right away that true. That to what? To stay. That I would stay. No hair. That everything looked to me like it was one universal piece, and that recovery synergies were very few. Of course, it was a big shock, and I went home with that. It was one little hard to decode. That I consider myself quite optimistic, even being a person ready, and that I try to encourage. Look at things as positively as possible, but it was hard. However, thought I should look for the high alternatives and searched inside the country. Lisbon? Spain? I don't know anything like this, and around several dermatologists, and they all were giving even diagnosis. I did several treatments with loads of things, cortisone, topical things, tablets, lots of things. I got to do provotherapy for a few months. The truth is that they spent a few years there.
To want.
Obviously, at all costs, almost the hair came back too, were especially the first phase. 2-3 years. It was very, very complicated, of course. I came from this. Of these 2-3 years passably. And I was always involved one little bit to the point of water. Therefore, defend. I cannot complain about the lack of support from my family, always had, and my husband's. That had always by my side from the beginning, and always supported me, has always been there to support me in all the decisions that I decided to opt. However, I went in this period. Never, because it was never looked for support, psychologically specific. I never stopped working. I think I later opted furs, and this week I'm going to see some pictures. I can't even imagine. It was exciting to see these photographs. And some of the options I made. Is that it was? Piggy bank. I think what made me try. It was because at the time when this happened to me, I had a small child, was about 2 years old. Obviously, on this route. At first I tried. What I did was isolate myself. I got quite sick. I stopped being less with the family, except with friends. With friends a lot. Our time even lived here. Lived in Porto, and therefore, most of my family was in Vienna. I started to space these visits out. With friends, some I even failed to test. Specifically making phone calls. At the end of this period, I think it was between 2-3 years. What made me give this round when trying speak was my husband's country. Went to have a small child, and felt it wasn't his fault. To be removed from the islands to the beach, of tours and walking shovel, come with him to the parks, to do the fun things that children like to do. Because the mother had no hair, had a hair ready and end. And I went. It's not. Because I like to face things with some determined spirit and some optimism. Of course, on this path, passing 26 years. Say it was easy, it wasn't. To say that today hair is a better option. Shovel is the one that I have chosen, as many women. Certainly, because it's the one they best disguise or hide the situation. We have no hair. We try to put anything that disguises what I think is indisguisable and what we know every day that does not belong to us. Because one hairdresser is not ours. The constraints of it all, that it is very windy. We are distressed because it is windy. Because if it's the heat, it's unbearable. The scarves never really fit with me. Make me feel like a sick person. I don't know the scarves. No. The 7 during vacation periods and very occasionally. At the end of this period, my option. I think so. Cristina, who was before all this a much more Cristina, much looser. And you want to be me again and pass a little and if I can ever contribute. For that we women didn't let have fewer women just because we don't have hair. And why really, with or without, our essence is here. So I want is to recover, be me and be back. Cristina who? Which was what a beauty.
Hello, I am Joe. I'm Cristina husband. Married for 32 years. We celebrated 6 years when this actually happened I think I have a bit to do with postpartum. With stress, post-dust, postpartum. It was a complicated process, as she already told. What I can say about her. I don't think I've ever had any problems with this situation. About her, how bright her suffering turns out to be the same. It turns out to be our suffering. Although, I guess I want the sun never brings what we should pass on. Any matter of our part of the relationship to the problem. Or her problem. Always and me when I find you talking. I speak for myself, and I also speak for our son. We always told you that he should take the red hair even walks without anything. And to do because for us at home, because as she always walks without no hair at home, never wears anything. For us it is perfectly normal, each one. We live day to day with her. I have these tricks of the hairdressers ready, and that's why this decision to make this micropigmentation makes you feel safer. Because what we really want is for her to be okay. Who feels happy and comfortable I know it won't be one. It won't be easy at first. But this is, I think it's a matter of getting used to. And I think after some time, which the way it will look like a video. Because we didn't notice that we don't even deal with her daily. For us, she be without hair or with hair, is perfectly, we will support her at that time. It's normal for us. If not that, we are already used to it, as is evident. And this situation, other people will get used to it too. With her image, and it will stop being a question that is for her, that is for other people.
This option to do as a micropigment.
Nor will she give much, because of what?
Me in the end, as I said just now. After 2-3 years, and to try to face this in a more possible way. But anyway, optimistic possible. Searches, treatments. I completely left everything. I walked away from everything. Past a few years, I started researching some things and some blogs of people who punish suffering and especially very young people. Talking about suffering who went through hair loss. And to face the situation, I was just seeing this, but always very far from it. A few months ago, being a 3-4-month-old daddy, things to do again, I don't know why. There was something that pulled me to do research again, but above all, to share, to see if there were women that were putting new things are in one of sharing. And until suddenly, there was one video of a young man that was 21 years old, B1 memory failure. He was doing the scalp micropigmentation. And that caught my attention. And I went to see the video and I started looking, because later they presented some results. I said, look how interesting. This is certainly what, if you do it here in Portugal, I will also search. And started researching, and some options appeared. And then there was one that caught my attention. That was Scalp Micro Portugal. Because beyond the to present, great detail, the whole process of explaining to show photos had also women's situations, who had done, and truth. By this process, I went researching, and I went seeing comments, and I thought it was also an option for me, and I've been thinking for some time that had to go around and stop having this hair and stop suffering, because this is a wound. And ready. And from there, I have come to Scalp Micro Portugal. By that research and by fact. In fact, it could be an answer to me. And put this, I'm here too. This is Cristina without hair. So that I am. This is my natural. This is an artifact. I really want to leave. There were 26 years, and therefore it's not to go back. And yes, I want to be Cristina again. To be me like this,